All right, Velocity, money, peace, and blessings. All right, so getting into the Jake Paul Gervonta Davis fight analysis, right? So Gervonta versus Jake, who's going to win? Looking at the charts of both fighters astrologically, you know what I'm saying, and looking at the day of the fight, the alignments of that particular day, and seeing who's going to come out on top, right? Now, um, my personal views outside of the astrological analysis, like you know what I'm saying, without me looking into any particular chart, without me doing looking into any particular, aspect or all that extra shit or whatnot, right? Um, I personally believe this is a WWE cartoon of some sort, right? I definitely think it's scripted. I definitely think it's some bullshit. You feel me? They just feed into the public to get money out of motherfuckers. Um, the way that I feel the script is supposed to go, I feel like Gervonta is supposed to take a dive, and he just gonna get his millions or however many millions of dollars they gonna pay him to flop in his fight, right? That's how I feel the script is supposed to go. But due to the fact that so many people share similar sentiments, like it's so many people that's also taking this fight to be some fake ass shit, and that Javante gonna take the fall or whatnot. I believe it could be a change in the way to where Javante actually wins, which will upset a good deal of people, which will upset a lot of motherfuckers, right? And you know, it'll make boxers, the boxing aspect or the boxing side of the game, real boxing fans, it might add a little happiness to them or whatnot. And it might take some of the dirt off of Jake Paul's name in relation to faking or fixing a lot of his fights. You know what I'm saying? It would be a spectacular result to a certain degree, I believe, as well, if Javante would have win. But that's just my take on it without using the astrology. Now, getting into the astrology, so we're gonna look at Jake Paul birth chart first. So I'm gonna try to run through this shit rather quickly. Um Jake, he has a Aries ascendant. The ascendant is on the cusp of Aries and Taurus, but I'm gonna just say it's an Aries ascendant, right? So if he's an Aries ascendant, indeed, his 11th lord is going to be in the 12th house in his birth chart. And within a transit in the sky right now, his 11th lord currently is transit retrograde in his 12th house. So he's in the Saturn return right now, and Saturn is retrograde, right? So that's not too good. That's actually speaking to him taking a loss in order to gain. You feel me? Actually, possibly losing in order to gain hella millions of dollars and notoriety and public attention and whatever the fuck, right? So that could be that. Now, getting to the rest of the chart, what else we gonna look at? So Jupiter, this is the transit chart as well, right? Jupiter is going to be in Cancer. So in his natal chart, Jupiter is going to be exalted, transiting his fourth house. It's going to be aspect this 11th floor, right? So it's an exalted Jupiter aspecting from the ninth aspect, the return retrograde Saturn, which is good. And he's going to have Mars and Mercury in the beginning degrees of Scorpio as well, trine this Saturn and trine this Jupiter. So exalted Jupiter is going to be trying his 8th house and is going to be trying his 12th house if he's an Aries ascendant, right? Now, this actually cancels out the negative effects of the retrograde, you know what I'm saying? And this actually adds strength to the 8th house transit of the Mars and Mercury, which is a strong transit because this is the own sign of Mars, and Mercury does fairly well in position to the 8th house, right? So this is good. This is great for Jake. I'm not even gonna lie. Where is Rahu would also be transiting the 11th house. K2 is in the 5th. That's great as well. It's a strong transit. What else is going on? The moon will be transiting through his 6th house over his north node and his Mars, which can represent him fighting an opponent that's pretty much a easy bag. like fighting a child or fighting a baby or something, which is kind of crazy because Gervonta Davis is like mad smaller than Jake Paul, right? Uh, so there's that. Um, Based off of this particular analysis, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would give it to Jacob because these are some strong transits for him in relation to the 11th Lord being empowered and the 8th house being empowered as well. Now, getting to Gervonta's chart, I don't have his ascendant time, so I can't bring that into fact. But I do have his planetary placements, right? So Gervonta, he has Jupiter in Scorpio, so the transit Jupiter will aspect the natal Jupiter, which is cool. But if we want to see, who's going to actually win, like who's the better fighter for the night, really want to look at Mars and Mercury and how it interacts with his actual birth chart, right? So the transit Mars is going to be over the natal Jupiter. Transit Mars and Mercury is going to be over the natal Jupiter, and the transit Jupiter is also going to be aspect of natal Jupiter. That's great. That's great energy. But we need to see the Mars, right? So the natal Mars, Jupiter is going into the sign of the natal Mars, but it's not transiting over it. Like Jupiter be at 0 degrees. Mars is like at, I believe, probably like 20, 22 degrees or something, right? So it's too far away to really have a profound activation, right? What else? The worst thing about Gervonta's transit, he's going to be in a Sun Venus return. So this is not necessarily good or the best for him. This can speak to a humiliation or a loss of reputation to some degree. You feel me? It can really speak to, with that debilitated Sun, and it's with Venus and it's with Rahu. If not during this fight, but I really believe in it's gonna be during this fight. But I'm not gonna lie, like Gervonta, his reputation, his status, what he stands for, it's really gonna take a fall. It's gonna take a loss. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. We'll see exactly how it plays out and what's to go down. I'm not gonna lie, from the astrological analysis, I definitely give it to Jake Paul. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for now. Velasquez.